So here I have two scenes, a menu scene and a level scene. First, we're going to create a transition node of type colorRect. We're going to set the size to fit the whole screen in the Inspector tab on the right under Rect Size. My window is set to 240 by 160, so take note if your window size is different. Then we're going to Material, Empty Material, New Shader Material. Click on the new material we just created and go to Empty Shader, New Shader, and click on the new shader we just created. This will open up a shader editor at the bottom of the screen where we'll put our CircleTransition shader code. The code for the shader is in the description, so just copy and paste it into here. Details for how the code works are also linked in the description if you're interested, but all you really need to know is that the shader creates three parameters we'll need to edit: circle size, screen width, and screen height. In the Inspector tab on the right, go down under the shader and open the Shader Param tab. Here you'll see the three parameters that were just created by the shader editor code we just pasted in. Enter in your screen dimensions, again mine is set to 240 by 160. If you drag the slider under the circle size parameter, you'll see the circle wipe in and out. We're going to use an animation player to automate the circle size parameter for us. By the way, if you want to change the color of your transition, use the color variable near the top of the Inspector tab. Next, we're going to create a child node of type animation player. We'll make two animations, one for the transition in and one for the transition out. Open the animation player editor and highlight the colorRect parent. For the transition in, set the key for circle size at 1.05 at the start and 0 at the end. Additionally, set visible to true at the beginning of the transition in. Do the opposite for transition out. Go ahead and rename the parent node to CircleTransition. Next, add a script to the parent node with the following code, which is available in the description. Make sure to connect the animation player signal to the script. Basically, the code adds a transition in and a transition out function, which plays the animations we just created, and also signals which animation we just played. We want this so that we can easily drop this node in on any scene we want to transition to or from. Go ahead and save this node we just created. I just named it CircleTransition. Going back to our menu scene, drop in the CircleTransition as a child node. Put the CircleTransition node underneath all of the other children so that it covers the screen. Create the script for the menu scene if you don't have one already. Here's the code I used to transition the scene. Next, we'll hook up the button and CircleTransition signals to the parent script. In the ready function, we set the CircleTransition node to visible and call the transition out function so that when the scene plays, we do a circle wipe out. Then when the pressed signal is called by our button node, we start the circle wipe in. When the transition is finished, we call the tree to change from our menu scene to the desired level scene. If you want the level scene to be able to toggle back to the menu scene, just copy and paste the script into your level scene and make sure you have the same button and CircleTransition node as children. For the example here, I call the transition in whenever our button is clicked, but you can change the function to call it on a keyboard input or anything else you want, and it should work the same. This implementation is quick, flexible, and pretty easy to slap onto most scenes without much fuss. It's good for short projects like in a game jam where you need to quickly get from one scene to another. However, this method isn't great for larger projects where you need to pass data to and from both scenes. For example, if these were both level scenes and your score isn't saved as a global variable, it wouldn't transfer between scenes. For a better way to implement that, I've linked a video in the description by Jmbiv that goes over a cleaner solution. Here's a video that shows a live demonstration of this CircleTransition effect from a remake of a Mario Party game I made. The project and code are linked in the description below as well. Hope you found this useful, and if you have any questions, happy to answer them in the comments below.